This podcast replay is brought to you by AccidentLawFirm.com. For truck, motorcycle, and rideshare accidents, call Bobby Nunez, 305-444-4407. AccidentLawFirm.com.
Mr. Alzagheri, we have Andre Fernandez.
I love it. Andre Fernandez. So let me ask you, Andre, when they called you and they offered you the job, how fast did you go for the champagne bottle? How many dances did you do with your wife? What kind of a party were you holding that they got you off the Marlins beat and put you on the Heat beat?
Well, I mean, I know the first thing she told me is like, well, they handed you a Corvette, so take advantage. You know?
You left the Studebaker. You left the Studebaker at home. The old No, I'm not even going to call it a Volkswagen Bug, bro, because the Bugs were really reliable. I can't even call the Marlins a Bug, bro. I got to go with Studebaker. I got to go with a Yugo, right? A Yugo is really good for the Marlins, right?
Yeah. What can I say?
Hey, let me ask you, Andre. Did I read you right? Because I was talking about this before you came on. I get a feeling like a lot of us that get in this business, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm a football guy. I was a football guy since I was a kid, and obviously I gravitated to the Dolphins and Canes and stuff like that because that's my favorite sport. Not that I can't talk basketball, baseball, hockey, and soccer and MMA and all that crap. I follow it all, but football is my love. I always got the feeling that baseball is your true love. Is that the case?
I mean, I do enjoy covering baseball. I'm not going to lie, but, you know, for a long time, and it's not even, like, that's what I told people when they asked me about this. And I said, look, to me, more than anything, I think it's the sport, you know, and I've been able to lay some roots there the last 5 years, even when I was at the Miami Herald, you know, and to really cover the sport well and that sort of thing. But, you know, an opportunity is an opportunity, man. And this is right now, you know, it's, no pun intended, it's a hot team right now, on top of the fact that, you know, we all know about the Heat's history, and it seems like they're getting back on the right track, you know, the last few months with the way that they've shaped this team now, and you know, hey, like I said before, it's like let's roll with this and see where it goes, man. I'm excited for it.
And you know, one of the things that I explain to people, because I know that there's some men and women in our business, Andre, that are like literally rooting for chaos, and that they want bad things to happen and all that, because obviously it's good for the business and it's a little easier to write. But most of us that cover teams and are waiting to walk into a locker room and all that, most of us really want to cover good situations and winning, because it's so much easier to deal with people. And I would imagine that doing the beat that you were on, it's really tough to try to, because you know there's so much negativity around it, you almost try to find some kind of positive light in it because it's so bad. Right. And it's so tough because it beats you down that every day you got to talk about this tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, and that's been the thing, you know, coming in with the Marlins, is that, you know, even now that they seem to be finally making, you know, some traction, some moves in the right direction, it's still because of what's happened in the past.
Right.
You know, it's just that, you know, that a lot of fans are just jaded by you know, the history of the team, you know, under previous ownership and the way things have gone, and then that's hard to really, from the business standpoint, generating interest in the team is the biggest challenge, you know. And, you know, even though there's been some growth in that, but still, it's kind of like what we talked about when you had me on the other day. You know, it's their fight to get into the conscious mind of the fans down here. You know, that really hasn't been the case for a while because of what's happened in the past. And you know, it's still a big uphill battle for them, and it reflects on, you know, us. I mean, as much as I try to find like stories that, you know, highlighted some of these players that are coming up now, some of the names, hopefully the guys that become names in the future, it was a big challenge, you know, and you know, to varying degrees of success. A lot of times it was a little frustrating, like you said, just in that aspect. But, you know, again, that's where I think this transition, even though the Heat is a young team, but it's the Heat. Like, a lot of people, they don't have to fight that uphill battle. Obviously, they're very much in everyone's mind. There's interest there, and I think that's a big part of it too.
Yep. Andre Fernandez joining us here on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at Fernandez Andre C. I love how you didn't waste any time too on your Twitter, put in sports writer for the Athletic MIA covering the Miami Heat. Boy, how long did it take you to put that thing up? Like 4 seconds after they gave you the job?
Yeah, well, the thing was, you know how it is with how it is with companies.
I know.
Like, make sure everything's in order and all that. So I had to kind of lie low and keep it a secret for a little bit. But once today, it was like, let's put this out there, and immediately, it's like change everything, change the labels, change everything. Put the new stickers up, everything, that kind of thing, and it's out there now. So
now, how excited are you to be able to cover the? See, that's the thing that people don't get, that they think that you want to be around the negative, and it's not true. And I would imagine you feel like a kid in a candy store now, because you're going to cover a team that cares, a team that tries, a hell of a coaching staff, and players that are passionately going to give it everything that they got every single night. You got the perfect combination to cover as a writer now.
Well, the one thing I can say about the Heat, and I know this from covering in the past spots, and then I covered it for a couple of years with Manny, and when I was still at the Herald and all that, was just it's a well-run organization, whether they're having success on the court or not. Yep. You can just tell, but the minute you walk in there, just the way things are organized, the way things are, just the professional atmosphere that they have. You look at it just also in the people too, like even from security staff at the AAA to staff of the team that have been there for basically forever. Like you look at everybody's resume and they've been there, 10, 12, 15 more years, and that's stability. That says something about a franchise when you have that continuity and that stability there. And, going into that, not just going back to the Heat, but right now, to talk about the specific point that they're at right now, it is exciting because, for once in a long time, there's parity in the NBA right now, which is fun too. You're not like automatically thinking, okay, we can only get this far, and then, oh crap, we got to play the Warriors. Like now, there are some good teams. There's an upper level they're trying to crack through right now, but it looks a little more conceivable that if this continues to go in the way it's going, maybe they add a piece here, a piece there, they can get to that point eventually down the road and really get to something special again.
Andre, what I want to know is it true, because I hear that you are prepared to break the ice tonight when you walk into the locker room, that you're going to hand Dion Waiters a cup of popcorn to just kind of break the ice. Is there any truth to that? No?
Leave me out of that.
No? Well, come on, bro. That would be a great way to break the ice. Hey, Dion, I'm Andre Fernandez. I'm the new beat writer of The Athletic. I want to give you a gift because I look forward to covering you, and I want to put you in a good mood. I know you love popcorn.
Orville Redenbacher.
Yeah, dude, look at that. You bring him some Orville. I mean, he's going to love you, bro. I mean, come on. A little butter.
Stop in at a CVS real quick on the way to the arena, grab stuff, take it to them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and maybe you're really thoughtful, and you even cook it for him, and you bring it already, ready to go, nice and warm, the steam coming out of it, and all. Now, I don't know about the butter. Maybe you hold off on the butter because then it gets on his fingers, and he can't shoot the ball if they call on him. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Hold off on the butter, Andre. I'm just saying.
Well, that's the whole thing. Let's see if they actually do call on him because we're still waiting for that. Pretty much at this point, right?
Well, I was talking about this, the struggles of Kendrick Nunn. Now you've got the injury to Goran Dragic. You got the injury now to Winslow, and still they don't go with him. He's still sitting there eating popcorn. So I'm wondering if Kendrick Nunn continues to struggle, and as much as Spoelstra probably never wants to even look at Dion Waiters after Dion talked all that crap of him in the offseason that anybody could win with the big three. I wonder if Spo says, well, I need him, I got to play him, and does he eventually elevate Goran back to starter and have Dion kind of battle with Nunn for the playing time, and if Nunn continues to stink out the place, then does Dion skip over Nunn and Dion become the bench guy coming off the bench, and Goran goes back to starting? I don't know. How does it all work out now down the line?
Yeah, it's interesting to see, especially right now that, Boron could be out for, they haven't said how long, obviously, but, kind of this day-to-day thing. Let's see how long it drags out. And also, your schedule, I mean, you got the Lakers coming in a week, but in the meantime, these next 3 games are seemingly against winnable teams, and that's something they've been able to do. So maybe it's a good time to kind of maybe experiment with the rotations a little bit, maybe get him in there, see how those combinations work, and then maybe go from there. Because, at some point, they're going to have to figure out all these combinations because, obviously injuries continue to happen in the NBA, the long season, all of that. So, this would be a nice little window, I think, in the next week to try out a few things.
Yeah, and here's the negative for you, Andre. If the team goes in the crapper, it's going to be all on you, dude. We're all gonna blame you now.
One of the first things they said over there when I got there was like, "Don't screw it up for us." So I've already been warned, trust me. But the day I went 2 weeks ago. It was like the one day I hadn't been officially named yet, but I went 2 weeks ago, and they beat the Cavs. It was the day Duncan Robinson dropped all those threes.
Right.
So I was like, good. I'm in the clear. Good.
Okay.
See? I'm not a jinx.
Yeah, because they're going to say, hey, yo, don't bring that Marlins juju here, bro. Come on, man. Don't do this to us. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of pressure on you right now. I don't know, bro. I think the popcorn's a good idea. I think the popcorn's a good idea.
We'll see if the movie theater or Walgreens are on the way when I go down there tonight.
Yeah. I mean, why not, man? I'm looking now. Now, you know what has been really cool to see is Bam. Because I was wondering which guy was going to step up, Bam or Winslow, because I figured, all right, we know Butler's going to be Butler, but which guy of the two, and I know Winslow, again, has some injury issues and all that stuff, but you got to be really impressed with the way Bam has developed in this Heat culture.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think on the offensive end, you're starting to see a guy who is about to take the next step. He's a force, a potential threat to get you a double-double every night. I mean, little by little, he's going to get to that point, where it's going to just become better and better and more of an offensive option. But I want to see how much he continues to develop on the defensive end, too, because you're going to run into those big guys that he's going to have to slow down. And he's done a decent job in spots so far, against the Embiid. I think earlier in the season against Karl Anthony Towns, he did a pretty good job. So that's the part really that's going to be a huge key if the team wants to take it a step further. I mean, they're looking like a playoff team right now, maybe a middle to high seed in the East, but they could really elevate themselves to really contend with the top, with the best of the best if that evolution of Bam on the defensive side keeps growing.
Yesterday, 2 days ago, they lost to the Celtics, and it was their third game in 4 nights. And a lot of people, which makes a lot of sense, and it happens in the NBA a lot, Andre, and you know it, you've covered it, that sometimes you have a scheduling loss because you've played so many games in one night. Now, my problem with that reasoning was Jimmy Butler went out and lit it up, and he's the guy that's got the Tom Thibodeau burned out legs, supposedly. So I thought the other night against the Celtics, I didn't call it so much a scheduling loss. What I wanted to call it was a lesson from Jimmy Butler to all the young guys that you got to bring it night in and night out, because if the dude that was the oldest guy on the court with the most mileage can go out there and play the way he played, young guys, you need to find the energy and the effectiveness to do the same thing on a third game in 4 nights. I would love the scheduling excuse for some people, but once Butler did what he did, I was like, okay, I'm going to go with Butler teaching lesson to his team, like, this is how you do it, boys.
Well, that's the whole thing right there. Is the next time you can't use the scheduling excuse, because he's not gonna let them. He's gonna get on them now and spread that message throughout the locker room. And just by example, those are the kind of things that he's brought to this team. It's been you have all these guys. They're all hungry, all good, young shooters, you name it. But the glue that's kind of made this all work is Butler, not just because of the talent, but because of things like that, where he has gelled so well with this young core so far. And that's going to be the process, I think, that's going to be interesting to see, beyond these 21 games, once we hit, the 45-game mark, the 60-game mark, and we're starting to get down the stretch, how much of value that's going to bring.
Yeah, man. I just have you been? Is there any part of you that has been surprised with all of this, Andre? Because personally, for me, I knew he was going to be a player, but I didn't know what kind of attitude was he going to take. Was he going to take like the attitude of, hey, I got to get my points and my stats and then work everything out? He has been as selfless as LeBron when he was here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I always call LeBron the most
league.
selfless player on the court, but selfish off the court. Well, this guy has come in and done a lot of LeBron on the court.
Yeah, I can't say obviously not knowing or covering him that closely, but obviously just from what you read and that sort of thing, it's definitely a pleasant outcome what they've seen so far. To see that attitude, to see that willingness to really, and you see the rapport too, like in the little bits that I've already seen in the locker room, you see that rapport he has with the young guys. He really took the Tyler Hero right off the bat, and they became close, and they started to really work together in the preseason. And, just those examples right there, like we were saying before, that leadership kind of mantle that he's taken. I mean, he's, it's only been, 21 games, the preseason, whatever, but you can start to see how he's really embracing not just the leadership role, but like that new face of the franchise type of role. That's really what they brought him in to do. And then, again, that continues to gel. If he continues that as the season goes on, it's going to be that much more valuable when this team really gets into the thick of it. When it come March and when they're starting to get into that point where they're really going to need to win, night in and night out.
Spo's back, right? He's not slacking off and taking off 6 weeks like some of these people do that have kids, right? I mean, that is about as fluffy as it gets out there. Men that are taking 6 weeks off when the woman does all the damn work. Get the hell out of here.
Well, I haven't officially heard yet. I don't know if maybe I missed it on Twitter in the last hour or two, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he's back. I mean, how much crazy work Spo puts in. So I wouldn't doubt it if he was there tonight.
Yeah, no, I expect Spo to be back, not to do the stuff that these millennials and Generation Zs do, taking off 6 weeks after they have it. I took 2 days off, bro. 2 days, okay?
Spo, if it were up to Spo, I don't think it even takes 6 hours. I think maybe it's like the compromise and then, a day or two, and now he's back.
Right. He was there for the selfie, and then he left. And that's it, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's a beautiful thing. All right. Follow him on Twitter, Fernandez Andre C., and catch his work at The Athletic, baby, because he is covering the Heat. What do you got, Bill? You got something for Andre?
Andre, here, buddy.
Let's get out of here. Look, Emerald City is closer and prettier than ever.
Gotta feel like that, right?
I'll be driving the Corvette up the Yellow Brick Road, man.
There you go. Good stuff.
Congrats, man.
Congrats, my brother. Enjoy the game tonight, man, and enjoy covering a real team, man. You got it.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. Andre Fernandez from The Athletic, man. Happy for him.